Hi everyone, we are in DCS World F-16C Viper. With some knowledge about the MFDs, today we will look into the HSD in a bit more detail. So let's get started. Onto the right MFD, displayed is the base page for the HSD. The four corner buttons can be used, like discussed before, to adjust the gain, symbology, contrast, and brightness of the display. The additional options are available onto the base page. Let's look into them one by one. The OSP19 and OSP20 can be used for the manual adjustment of the range. Pressing OSP20 will increase the range to 120 and pressing OSP19 will decrease the range back to 60. Against towards the left side against OSP17, the bullseye reference of the FCR cursor is presently written. Now let's go to the top row. OSP1, in the depressed position, the 2/3 of the range is visible in front of the aircraft and only 3/4 is visible in the rear quadrant. Moving this or pressing this OSP will move or change the display of the HSD to the centered position, in which an equal amount of range is visible in all four directions around the aircraft. Against OSP2, the default position is a decoupled position in which the range or scale of the HSD can be changed independent of the FCR. Pressing this OSP2 will couple this scale of the HSD with the scale of your FCR. So if the FCR is selected at 40 scale, a 40 with no option to change will appear against OSP19 and 20. Let's move it back to the decoupled position. Against OSP3, the normal and expand function would be available in future. Moving over to the OSP5, pressing OSP5 takes us to the control page of the HSD. All the options which are highlighted, that shows that these options or these navigation or lines or the IFF data or the FCR data will be appearing on the HSD as well. Let's look at OSP1. If I press the FCR is de-highlighted and the FCR scale will disappear from the HSD. Let's turn it back on. Similarly, moving on to the page 2 of the HSD from OSP10. An additional set of options becomes visible for the display of maybe surveillance, the air targets, the ground targets, the SAM threats, and ship. So they can be manually displayed or can be removed from the display of the HSD by highlighting or de-highlighting them by pressing the associated OSP against them. Let's press the page 2 again and we'll come back to the page 1. To come out of this control menu, press OSP5 or control again and we will return back to the base page of the HSD. The OSP6 can be used. Pressing it once, a transmit link 16 will be written to transmit any stair point, any mark point using our HSD by pressing the COM inboard greater than 0.5 second. OSP7 or freeze can be used to freeze the display to any selected position. The next OSP we are concerned about is the friendly on or OSP9. A friendly on selection will display all friendly aircraft onto the HSD. Right now, if you can see, the link 16 participants are visible as light blue or sand color, and the friendly aircraft are visible as green circles with the altitude written against them. Pressing this OSP1 will change it to flight on, in which only the AWACS and the flight members are visible on the HSD only. Pressing it again will turn to friendly off, in which all other aircraft except the AWACS disappeared from the HSD display. The default position is friendly on. Let's check it back to friendly on now. The declutter function, once available in the future, will declutter some of the data from the HSD for the better orientation and for the better visibility. The HSD can be made an SOI as discussed before by checking display management switch to aft position. Let's make it an SOI. As soon as HSD is made SOI, an additional cursor appears onto the HSD with some additional data below friendly on or against OSP9. This HSD cursor can be used to take any stair point or to send it to any flight member or the team member as well. The data written against friendly on OSP9 is basically the bullseye position of this cursor while I move it onto the HSD screen. The rings appear on the HSD base page tells us about the range. If right now I am in 40 nautical mile range, so the first circle is at 20 nautical mile and the second circle is at 40 nautical mile. The FCR display tells me that right now my FCR is also in a 40 nautical mile 40 nautical mile scale with an azimuth of 60 degrees. This scale and range, as we discussed, can be altered from OSP 19 and from OSP 20. If you want to make an FCR back as an SOI, press display management switch to aft again. The square will disappear from the border of the HSD and your FCR will become your SOI. I hope that helped. Safe flights. Bye bye.